Om Namah Shivaya. Namaskaram to everybody. Today we are going to discuss God's second commandment to tell the truth from the various religious philosophies of the world, the message of peace told by the great prophets and gurus to bring in peace to mankind and peace in the world. And in that respect, today we are going to discuss about the message of this from Jainism philosophy, how it brings peace and show the path of liberation to mankind. And at Vishwa Shanti Times, we are presenting this God's second commandment on Jainism philosophy. Especially, we are going to discuss about the self-restraint, what is very, very essential for one to live a tension-free, peaceful life. So, if you want to be free from anger, jealousy, hatredness, cunningness, crookedness, tension, pressure, everything, one should adhere to self-restraint. What is self-restraint? Self-restraint means you have to keep your mind under control and your intellect within the realms of the peace and calmness at all times. For attaining this, in Bhagavad Gita, as well as here in Jainism philosophy, a reference to tortoise was made. Actually, even Lord Krishna tells about this tortoise in Bhagavad Gita while talking about the Jnana Yoga. Just as a tortoise draws its limbs into its own shell, a wise man should withdraw his senses from evil by spiritual exertion. That means, a tortoise what it does. Whenever it sees its enemy, it drags its head and the four legs inside the shell, so that nobody can harm it. Similarly, for us, these five senses, which are the gateways to the external world's worldly attractions of Maya, whenever it comes in contact with any of these attractive objects, which kindles in us the thought of lust, the thought of anger, the thought of desire, the thought of greed, immediately the buddhi to drag the five senses and itself drag inside inside to where? To surrender to Paramatma. When you totally surrender to Paramatma, you will keep the guide of all these five senses and the sixth sense of buddhi to remain in self-restrained state. So, when all the limbs of the tortoise come inside, just as a tortoise draws its limbs into its own shell, a wise man should withdraw his senses from the evil of spiritual exertion. So we will be carrying on so many activities in our day-to-day life in fulfilling our duties. Certain words told by the other person may hurt you, may kindle in you the anger. At that time you have to adopt self-restraint. So that these wrong things will not enter into your ears. Whoever tells badly about you, just here, leave it there itself. When such a situation arises in your mind, then you can remain calm. Because those people have got only the duty to find fault with others. So let us not bother about it. Let us only focus on our duties. That should be your mental attitude. Always focus on your duties. Whomsoever says whatsoever. Don't get attached to anything. You just focus on your duty, offer everything at your feet. When a wrong deed is committed consciously or otherwise, the aspirant should immediately desist from that and never repeat it. Sometimes what happens, we were doing some act, but without knowing that that is the wrong thing. And after committing it, we realize that it is wrong. Then immediately what you should do, you should repent. Suppose you, without your knowledge, you hurt somebody, you teach somebody, or you have dashed against somebody, something happens. So, whether it is done intentionally or unintentionally, immediately say sorry for them and repent for that. And you should see that you don't repeat it again, never repeat again. So, just as a horse can be controlled by a bridle, the sensual pleasures and passions can be overcome by knowledge, meditation, and power of penance. So, here, main thing is how to bring the Just as tortoise and tortoise bring its head and four limbs inside, how it is possible for man to bring his senses inside himself, six senses in him, by doing the spiritual sadhana, by doing dhyan. That's what it says. So by going inside, by taking your five and six senses inside yourself and surrender to Paramatma, he will guide you the right path. He will give you the strength for self-restraint. So, yesterday's house can be controlled by a bridle. The sensual pleasures and passions can be overcome with knowledge. So, this is going to create me greed. This particular aspect is going to create me anger. This particular aspect is going to create me jealousy. So, when such things happen in you, immediately that knowledge, the jnana, which comes through meditation and power of penance. When you continuously do penance, penance means what? Thinking about God and surrendering everything to God. Not that you should go on Himalayas and do it in Padmasana and do penance. No, nothing like that. While carrying on your day-to-day duties, everything you do without attachment and offer everything at His feet. That is greatest penance. And when you do these things, what happens? And when you focus on your duties, that focus itself is meditation. And when you're doing this, when you use your sixth sense, by surrendering to God, you know what is wrong, what is right. Don't do wrong, only do right thing. So this is how we can bring in self-restraint. How can one discipline others when he is unable to discipline his own self? So first thing is you have to discipline yourself, your mind, your intellect. So your gunas, your thoughts, everything you have to first discipline. Continence is fourfold. That is the mind, body, speech and possessions. The continence is how to bring in self-control means you have to bring the control the mind, body, speech and possessions. A well-controlled horse that gallops fast reaches its destination safely. So also the sense organs well controlled by the reins of scriptural knowledge are beneficial in realizing the self. So well-controlled horse that gallops fast reaches its destination. Well controlled. So if we keep the horse under control and hold it, it will make you to reach your destination faster. Similarly, when these sense organs, which are well controlled by scriptural knowledge, that's what you are studying from the various religious philosophies. So this knowledge will give us the jnana, knowledge, which are beneficial in realizing the self. The unprotected and self-restrained soul wanders aimlessly in the world is Sada. So, if you don't have any scriptural knowledge or anything, what happens? The mind begins to wander in the external Maya world. And it goes aimlessly in this world is Sada. So we don't know why we are born. And we until the time of our death, we don't know why we are born, what we are doing. Simply eat and sleep and enjoy the self. This is an uncontrolled, unrestrained. A careful restraint is liberated from all miseries. Knowing this, protect yourself by controlling the senses. What is this is, uh, so when you are doing your duty, see that you have self-restraint on yourself. So that whatever actions you are doing, you just realize through the release of karmas. So when all the karmas are released, you will get liberated from all miseries from the worldly samsaric life. At the same time, you attain the stage of moksha. Knowing this, protect yourself from controlling the senses, by controlling the senses. So first and foremost thing, you have to control your senses, not by force, by taking and surrendering to Paramatma inside through Dhyan. Whenever wise man notices himself deviating from the path of righteousness in thought, word or deed, he should immediately withdraw himself from that misdeed like a horse controlled by tightened wheels. So the horse is tight, the wheels just go through nose. If that veins is held tightly, the house goes in a straight path. Similarly, when we notice ourselves deviating from the righteous path, without our knowledge, somebody comes and tells, you go this way, this will give you fast earnings. So immediately you should see that you don't get attached to that, and that because of the greed you get attached and you will suffer for that. Don't have greed, don't have desire. So what is within your limitations, focus on it and see that you fulfill your duties. So that your mind will be under control just like a horse. So self-restraint means one should keep themselves, all the senses and the buddhi, under total control by surrendering to Paramatma inside you. By doing that, you can carry on all your duties without any tension, without getting attached to any of the wrong words, wrong deeds that is happening outside against you. And you can fulfill your duties peacefully, successfully. That will bring you prosperity, happiness, good health, and peace at all times, and also release all karmas and attain moksha. So this is the truth one should realize and should follow this path as explained in the Jainism philosophy. Om Namah Shivaya.